Hey, good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP, North Georgia's only live online morning show. You know, before the show came on, I like to listen to some music here, and so I was playing some David Allan Cole. I'm the only hell my mama ever raised, but then I got to thinking there is Jerry out there. And for those of you in the audience that know who Jerry is, my brother. So just a little fun here. You know, we have a very serious show. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're going to go over the President's health care bill. Well, we'll call it the President's health care bill. Some are calling it Paul Ryan's bill, but I think it's Donald Trump's health care bill if he's going to go down to Congress and he's going to look at them and say, hey, I want you to pass this bill. I want you to vote for it, and I want you to put it on my desk to sign it. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this rape of this 14-year-old in Rockville, Maryland. Now, where we're going to go with this, we're going to go a little different direction. We're going to go a little different direction than some of the news cycles this morning, because I want to ask you, wherever you're at this morning, if you're in Texas, if you're in New York, if I know we have some people send me messages from time to time up in New York, Springfield, Missouri, or Union County, Pickens County, Gilmer County, wherever you're at in Georgia. We're going to talk a little bit about your schools. Schools, these safe zones. Have we created schools that are basically sanctuary cities within themselves? We're going to talk about that. We're going to go a different direction than the media on that one. Also, Neil Gorsuch is sitting there for 14 hours? 14 hours during, and somebody asked me yesterday if I was watching, and I have watched clips, okay, and we'll get into that in a minute. I have watched clips of the Neil Gorsuch hearings there. I can't sit there and watch Dianne Feinstein. I can't do it. I can't sit there and watch this clown Al Franken. I can't do it. I can't sit there and watch Blumenthal. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right? But I am going to tie together why the Freedom Caucus needs to. Okay? I'm going to give you the reason. I know what you're saying. I'm going to tell you this before you come back at me, because I already know. You're saying it was only 2 days ago you were playing a clip of Ted Cruz on Monday morning on the interview on Face the Nation saying bucket 3 was for suckers. It was only 3 days ago you were saying, hey, push this all together and pass it, the health care bill. It was only 3 days ago. I know what you're saying. But I'm going to tell you why the Freedom Caucus today absolutely should, vote for President Trump's. While the Freedom Caucus, Tom Cotton, Mike Lee, and what's his name? Rand Paul, which I've supported. Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you why I think they should vote for the President's health care bill. I'll explain. We'll get into that. I'm going to wait till 9 o'clock, okay? You know, we're talking about, I want to ask you a question. At 9 o'clock, I want you to send me text. Put this up here, okay? Immediately in the morning, Sam, put that up here. You know, there's people wanting to know how to get in touch with me. This needs to happen immediately. We got to let the people know. Thank you, Sam. Chief@fetchernews.com. There, you can send me emails, chief@fetchernews.com, or 706-889-9700. You can send text messages right here, or follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV. Also, like our Facebook page. Find our YouTube channel. We stream on three different ways in the morning. We stream on Facebook. Find our Facebook page. We stream on YouTube Live. So you go to FYNTV Fetcher News and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And anytime we're live, you'll get a notification. And then also on FYNTV.com. Okay, moving right along here. At 9 o'clock, did you ever get in trouble in school? I'm serious. Send me the one time you got in trouble in school. or for me, one time I could tell a daily story. But I'm going to tell a story at 9 o'clock. And I'll tell you how this came about, that I want to know, okay, before we get into our serious subjects. For juveniles sentenced to Shakespeare, the world's a stage. I'm thinking, what? This is in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. For some juvenile offenders, their choice is straight out of Hamlet, to accept or not to accept. Shakespeare and Company, a theater in Lenox, Massachusetts, works with courts to get youngsters who ran afoul with the law sentenced to perform works of Shakespeare on stage as an alternative to community service or juvenile detention. So if the question is to act or not to act, I'm telling you, Judge, I'll take the 30 days. I'd take 30 days. I'm just saying. Judge, I'm sorry. Shakespeare, really? Just give me the 30 days. Let's get it over with. Okay, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to share, I think you'll enjoy it, a time when I got in trouble in school. Hey, it's one time. I could do a daily segment, by the way. I hear Nancy Pelosi is moving into the 6th district. She's looking for a house now. Yeah, I'm serious. We'll talk about that. But let's start. Show the picture. Hail. Hey, look, everybody in North Georgia is dealing with a lot of damage. Be careful out there. It's dark. Tree limbs are down. I talked to Dr. Shannon Wilkes, the superintendent of schools here in Gilmer County this morning, about how many trees they're dealing with. They're dealing with tree limbs down everywhere. This is someone's front yard. Kathy, I want to say thank you to Kathy for this picture. This is a front yard here in North Georgia. It looks like it snowed. That is hail last night. You were texting and some of you were showing pictures of metal with all the dings on it, and some of you were posting on Facebook, hey, cover your cars now. They'll never be the same. But this is one lady's yard of a hailstorm. So be careful out there. There are some limbs. That was a rough storm. Okay. Now Sassafras, which if you've been watching the show, that's my dog. Sassafras gets all upset. She can't take it. I mean, I had this 50-pound dog in my lap that just would not leave me alone. All right. Now, serious news. Why should the Freedom Caucus, we're going to do this first. Why should the Freedom Caucus, why should they vote for the president's health care bill? Now, here's what I said on Facebook last night to everybody, and I'm going to tell you now. Just 3 days ago, I was here 2 weeks ago when it was announced. I talked to Congressman Doug Collins, all right? I had my reservations. You've heard on me on this show. I did not support this bill over and over, okay? I do not support this bill. But I listened to people. Okay, so I had Congressman Doug Collins the day it was introduced. The next morning, Congressman came on. He explained to me what his feelings were on the bill and his support of the bill at that time, and what they were doing to work to make any improvements and work with other members of Congress to get this bill passed, okay? Then I'm going to tell you, I defer to some people. I come here, I'm not all-knowing. I know that shocks some of you out there, okay? But I'm not. I humble myself and say that. So Friday, I had an opportunity, if you were watching, Ask the Doc, okay? And I had an opportunity to sit down with Dr. Raymond Tidman from Blue Ridge that I respect. I have a lot of respect for Dr. Tidman. And I asked him about the health care bill, and it did not deliver everything he wanted, but he said, I'm able to put my trust in the people that are working this out. Tom Price. Now, if you ask physicians around Georgia, Dr. Whaley, Dr. Tidman, they have a lot of respect for Tom Price. Now, these are people that know HHS Secretary Tom Price. And Dr. Tittman said, I respect the person that's working this out to do the right thing. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna go with that. Then I got to thinking, the president is asking you to do this. And will the president keep his promise? Because I cringe to think about this third prong in the healthcare package. I cringe to think about that. And I came on here Monday and I played The Third Bucket is for Suckers. And that was by Ted Cruz. And I have supported Rand Paul, calling it Obamacare Lite. So I came in here and I'm thinking, should I endorse? I don't even like the word endorse because I don't want to, I'm just here to bring information, but should I endorse this bill and is it the right thing? And then I start to think and I put things into perspective, okay? First of all, look at what Obama has done. Now, we won't go back through the progressive years of the last since Woodrow Wilson, okay? The original progressive there, Woodrow Wilson. We won't go back to that day. We won't go back to LBJ signing the public broadcasting bill, which gave grant blocks of money to public broadcasting. But we're going to speed it up to just the last 8 years that Barack Obama's had in office and the damage done and what Obamacare is and the disaster and how to, this is a fabric. We allowed this to get into the fabric of this country, okay? And how to take the weave and remove Obamacare from the fabric of this country and what has happened is a delicate step. So I'm going to go with that. So I said, okay, anything has to be better than Obamacare. Anything. Start with that. Second, I don't trust Paul Ryan, but I do trust Donald Trump to keep his word. So without any further ado, it finished off for me yesterday. Last night, I put a post on Facebook and I said, if the President of the United States, two things happened yesterday for me to say that I endorse voting for this. Now, I hope they make some good changes between now and tomorrow, okay? And I understand today at noon, if you tune in, I think around noon today, Congressman Doug Collins is going to be the floor leader today in the House of Representatives during the reconciliation part of this bill. Okay, so they're going to start debating things. They're going to start talking about things. The reconciliation will start at noon of this bill on the floor. And I understand Congressman Doug Collins at noon will be the floor leader. So if you tune in C-SPAN 1 or C-SPAN 2, you'll see the congressman leading the floor in this right here. Your congressman if you're in the 9th District. That being said, I know I said that several times this morning. Two things significantly happened that just made me say, you know what, I'm going to go with this. One, the President of the United States motorcade left and went down to Capitol Hill. And he looked at Congress and he said, the Republicans, and he asked them, vote for this. We have to get this done. Why is this important? Because you have to have the health care to understand the tax structure because of Obamacare's being weaved into our tax structure. You got to have that done so you can do the tax bill next. That being said, President of the United States went down, looked at the Freedom Caucus, looked at the Republicans and said, vote for this. Vote for this. President of the United States had Mike Lee. He's had Rand Paul meetings. He's had a meeting with Mike Lee. He's had a meeting with Ted Cruz down at Mar-a-Lago. All right, vote for this. Support me on this. This guy, for somebody that's not humble, as the media wants you to portray him, this guy that is not someone, the President of the United States, that will ask for something in some kind of humility, hey, do this for me. This guy went down there and in Paul Ryan's words, he knocked the cover off the ball. He came down there and knocked the ball out of the park. He has gone to all of them and asked them, vote for this. That's number one. President of the United States asked you to vote for this. Okay, number two, Freedom Caucus. After watching Now remember during the campaign, okay? Remember during the campaign, we continued to hear during the campaign that the conservatives were still out here. The Freedom Caucus, the Mike Lees, they're still out here. Mike Meadows, they're still out here. Why? Because, you know, the media wanted to float out these liberal judges because Trump's a Manhattan liberal in disguise of a Republican, and he's lying to conservatives. Remember all through the campaign, will Trump be a conservative when he gets in office? Will he keep his promises? Will he do what he tells the American people? I said this, I said that, will he do it? Or is this guy this Manhattan liberal? Okay, so we're watching over and over and over. So we don't have time, but we can make a list. This guy said things about NATO. You know, the people freaked out. Hey, NATO's not paying their fair share. The man had the nerve. The man had the nerve to look at Angela Merkel and say, look, you're going to pay your fair share, all right? Germany, you're going to pay your fair share. Nobody's paying, only a handful are paying their fair share. So we're not going to put up with that anymore. You're going to do that, okay? Guess what? He's keeping his word. He's going to have the Chinese president down in Mar-a-Lago. Okay, don't worry about China, all these concerns. He's keeping his word. This guy is keeping his word. In the first 50 days, you would take a 3-hour show just to mark the things that the President of the United States is keeping his word to the American people. Keeping his word. So there was all these things during the campaign. I'm going somewhere with this. There were all these things going in the campaign about the Supreme Court. I, for one, on this show, I have over and over and over that the Supreme Court, it was the issue of the day. The reality is transgender issues, all of these issues that have come, Second Amendment, it doesn't matter. We have talked over and over, okay, Obamacare becoming a law, the law of the land by John Roberts. We have talked over and over about Supreme Court 4-4. Flipping the court in a liberal way with Hillary Clinton, what the disaster that would be. And we needed a constitutionalist, okay, somebody that actually interprets. I'm always cautious because I don't like the word interpret. I don't like anything that gives a gray area, but totally looks at the Constitution for the document it is and not the document it can be. The document that it is, not what it can be based on that. We're tired of legislating from the bench. This is a major problem. So the Supreme Court, so he floats out the 20 names. Remember the 20 names on a list, and oh my God, all of a sudden, that will bring conservatives in. That will make conservatives happy. This will get the conservatives on board. Then we get up to the nomination process, and for 3 days we have these names out there. And will Donald Trump finally do what he promised conservatives? The Mike Lees of the world, the Jim Jordans, all the Freedom Caucus, everybody, the conservatives. What will he do? This court, Ted Cruz, the court. He picks Neil Gorsuch. Now yesterday, I don't have time to do, we'll do a little on that in a minute. But yesterday, if you've been able to watch over the last 2 days, for all of the critics that say that Donald Trump is not going to be able to do this, not going to be able to do that, will not keep his word on this, if you have just watched Neil Gorsuch for just a little bit, you say, oh my God, Donald Trump hit what many conservatives said was the number one issue during the campaign to them, the Supreme Court. He hit it out of the park. He hit a home run. What did he do? He gave conservatives, the ones that would come on board now, the ones that would be happy now, the never-Trumpers now maybe get off that train and get on the Trump train. We know all of that background. He hit it out of the park. Out of the park. He kept his word. This is going to be one of the most historical things when you see the Supreme Court. Remember, when Gorsuch goes on a bench, this is my hopes and prayers, and I'm serious about this. When Neil Gorsuch goes on the bench and he becomes the number 9, and it is a 5-4 court, hopefully, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg goes to sleep for the last time. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I mean, I didn't mean anything bad. I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, every picture of the Supreme Court, she's sleeping. We know that. There's nothing to hide here. So when Ruth Bader Ginsburg goes to sleep for the last time, what I mean, and they say, hey, Ruth, wake up. You got to go home now. All right? And Donald Trump gets a second pick. And we possibly could go with a 6-3 court. And you are reading 20 years from now, 15 years from now, court decisions and how this court shaped the next 20 and 30 years in this country. You're going to say, thank God for Donald J. Trump. That's all I know. So all I'm telling you is he gave you the number one thing that I feel the Freedom Caucus, I feel the conservatives wanted. Now, I'm not asking, I don't like the politics and trading. I do not like the politics and trading. But I'm going to tell you right now, if the President of the United States came down and he said to you in a room, face to face, okay, face to face, vote for this, support me on this. I will make every promise that we kept the American people, I will make them happen. I promise you that. There's a level here where, okay, where is the guy let you down? What do you want in 2018? Do you want in your area, in your district? I have said this on this show. If you've watched this show every day or sporadically, you have heard me say, Donald Trump, I made this prediction way back. It started to come true yesterday. I made this prediction right here on this show. It started to come true yesterday. I said that the President of the United States, I said, let me tell you something. If Republicans do not get in line and do not support the President of the United States, you will see Republicans primaried in their district. So you've got a congressional district. Now, Doug Collins, he is voting for this, okay? Right now, all I'm going to say, Congressman Doug Collins in the 9th District is supporting the President of the United States. That's what I'm at. I say that. So, but let's say he did not. You would have somebody in the 9th District primary. I'm not saying it's going to happen, just an example. Primary him. Okay, you say, run against a sitting Congress? Yes. And you'll have somebody say, I will support Donald Trump when your congressman won't. Oh, can you see that campaign? And then watch Donald Trump come into your district, okay? And if he won every county in your district, watch him come into your district for the first time and see a sitting president campaign with somebody that's primarying against you, running against you. Watch. I predicted it on this show. He said it yesterday. He was not threatening Mike Lee. Please understand, he was not threatening Mike Lee. What he told, not Mike Lee, Mike Meadows. Mike Meadows in North Carolina. I apologize, I keep saying Mike Lee, that's Senator of Utah. He was not threatening Mike Meadows. He was just stating a fact. Mike, I'm with you on this. Mike's the chairman of the Freedom Caucus. Mike Meadows, North Carolina. Mike, okay already, right? But here's the thing. You got Mike Meadows' picture? Throw him up there. I know I didn't tell you to put it up earlier, but go ahead and put him up there. This is Mike Meadows. He's the chairman of the Freedom Caucus, okay? And yeah, now that's Mike Lee. Is that Mike Meadows or Mike Lee? That's Mike Lee. You didn't send me Mike Meadows. I sent you Mike Lee. Oh, that's my bad. Take that down. I made the mistake there. Okay. I sent you Mike Lee. All right. I meant to send you Mike Meadows. That's why I keep getting confused. Anyhow, that was Mike Lee. Let's straighten it out. He did not threaten Mike Meadows yesterday. All he was trying to do is say, Mike Meadows, chairman of the Freedom Caucus, do you really want people to start running against you guys? Because it could happen out there. It could happen if people in those areas. You think those 16,000 that showed up in Kentucky are not supporting Donald Trump? Be careful. Okay, Freedom Caucus, here are the calls. I am asking you to call. Let's go with the Freedom Caucus page. Okay? Whenever you can put that up. Okay. Is that something we can make larger, Sam? Okay. This is a list. It's okay. I can move over. Can you get that to fill the page over here? If you can do that, that's okay. That's okay. Here's a list on the Freedom Caucus. Maybe you could see it at home and you could zoom in on it later. At the top is a phone number. That phone number is 202-224-3121. This is the list of members. This is the congressional switchboard. If you call this number, they will ask you which congressman you're trying to get. Okay? So it's 202-224-3121. I am saying to you, this is what I would do and I recommend. Because the President of the United States kept his promise to the Freedom Caucus with Neil Gorsuch. The President of the United States is keeping his promise. I am telling you that I would like for you to call these members. Just tell them which one you want. You can call every number, call it back, get each one. You got Mark Meadows from North Carolina, Justin Amash of Michigan, Brian Babin of Texas, Rod Bloom of Iowa, David Brad of Virginia, Jim Bridenstine of Oklahoma, Mo Brooks of Alabama, Ken Buck of Colorado, Warren Davison of Ohio, Ron DeSantis of Florida, Scott I don't know of Tennessee, I can't pronounce his name, Jeff Duncan of South Carolina, Trent Franks of Arizona, Tom Garrett Jr. of Virginia, Paul Gossar of Arizona, Morgan Griffith of Virginia, Andy Harris of Maryland, Jody Heiss of Georgia, Jim Jordan of Ohio, Raul Labardo of Idaho, Alex Mooney of West Virginia, Gary Palmer of Alabama, Steve Pierce of New Mexico, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Ted Poe of Texas, Bill Posey of Florida, Mark Sanford of South Carolina. We all remember Mark, right? Former governor of South Carolina, went to, or was he a senator? Former governor, right? Went to Venezuela with his girlfriend, couldn't find him, whatever. Mark Sanford of South Carolina, David Schwarzkert of Arizona, Randy Weber of Texas, and Ted Yoho of Florida. Freedom Caucus. Number is 202-224-3121. Call, start going down these names, call their offices and say, support the President of the United States. Vote for the bill. That's my opinion. I'm endorsing it. Freedom Caucus, look at Neil Gorsuch today going on the Supreme Court. Look at everything this president has done and see if you cannot agree to give him an opportunity on this bill. Now, same number, put up the senators list. We understand these senators. Senators you need to call, 202-224-3121. That's the congressional switchboard. Just tell them, Mike Lee of Utah, Rand Paul of Kentucky, Tom Cotton of Arkansas. So that's the number, the list of the Freedom Caucus, you have that. The three senators that say dead on arrival, Rand Paul, Mike Lee, and Tom Cotton. Call their offices and say, you need to support the President of the United States. That's my opinion. Hey, if you don't agree with that, that's okay. We're going to take a break. I'm going to take a brief break. I'm going to come back. We're going to get set up for our 8:45 tax tips with Beth Bennett. And I'm telling you right now, you don't want the President of the United States campaigning against you. It could happen. Hopefully they will support the President of the United States. I'm going to come back and do a quick 10 minutes on yesterday, Neil Gorsuch. Then it will be time for tax tips with Beth Bennett at 8:45. And at 9 o'clock, hey, did you ever get in trouble in school? I'm going to share one story. You might enjoy it, but I was just thinking about today when I seen the Shakespeare thing, okay? We will break down in detail and go over. I was waiting for an email. I just received it. We will go over called a Dear Colleague letter. The details of what you can ask and cannot ask when you come in. Somebody comes into school. We'll put that up there in a minute. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show.